Musings to the Muse. We sit there staring at each other, constantly turning or facing one another. Like two sides of a coin, like we were almost adjoined. Then I go to open my mouth, and it's your voice that comes out, all blooming and bold, all ancient and old, like a forgotten forest full of trees. Your voice, wild, flows through me, and while the words are still my own, you've shown you hold them in you. This is your throne. All right, and we are back with Musings to the Muse. Today's episode will be a bit weirder. I don't think I'm not gonna focus on anything in particular today. Um, Next week we will do dark next week, but I think I'm gonna take this week to kind of take a retrospective. Kind of talk about podcast, kind of talk about what I want to do moving forward, and um yeah, just talk about a couple of things I'm working on, right? So I do have a lot of, different projects I'm working on. If you follow my YouTube page, you'll kind of see that I'm uploading gaming videos and I'm uploading new art and I'm uploading, the podcast, and it's kind of like a very wide range of content right now. And basically because I got a lot of stuff inside, and it's all able to come out now. So we're gonna keep that going probably for a little bit. Big project still is going to be the essays, obviously. I don't know, I'm gonna turn up the fan, so it's a bit quiet in here, I think. Um, Big project moving forward is gonna be the essays, I think, still. Second project is probably gonna be the big thing I really want to finish right now is start working on Space Volume 3, which is going to be about the sun. I've already written it out. It's just recording it is it's a big process for me recording it because I have to. So the space, if you heard any of the Space Volume 1 and Space Volume 2, you notice that there's sound in there. There's like musical notes in there as well as the actual writing. The essays are very like I said, it's a very academic project, so those are not gonna have any sounds in them. So the Space Volume 3 is definitely gonna have some sounds. I already have some kind of ideas as to what I wanna do with it. But usually I record it first and then I listen to it back and say, you know what, this is what needs to be there. I haven't recorded it yet, so I don't really know necessarily what I want to do with it, sound wise. But it's gonna be fun when we figure it out. I think it's gonna be fun. The piece itself is really fun. It's just enjoyable to kind of think about. But the concept behind it is that, well, I don't really want to give it away, but I think it's a fun concept behind it too. But yeah, so we're gonna work on that sometime, probably this week, maybe next week. I do want to finish off all the essays at some point. We've been cruising through those though, and I think I just released the one depression. I do have to re-release it. I have to up the volume on it because it's really soft when you listen to it on YouTube for whatever reason. Even though I've done nothing, I've changed nothing on my setup, so it shouldn't be that soft, but it is very soft when you're listening to it on YouTube. So I'm gonna do that probably at some point today. Hopefully I can re-upload it I gotta re-record it obviously, but that doesn't take too long at all. It's just about playing it over and upping the sound intake on the video, which is easy. Like I know what I have to do. It's not hard to do it either. So it's just about taking the time to get it done, and I will hopefully be able to do that today. Today is Monday. Today is also a holiday today. It's a holiday in Grenada, something related to the harvest. Um, so it does feel like I was telling my friend earlier. It does feel like Stardew Valley, like a festival in Stardew Valley, where there's a big event at the stadium today, apparently, which I will not be going to because, like, if there's an event at the stadium, that means that the whole country basically there. The stadium is in the capital of the country, which is St. George's, which is the closest metro. Did I say metro area? I don't mean metro area. I mean the closest city to me, which is also the capital, is St. George's. So it's gonna be pretty busy. All the buses kind of route to St. George's because it's like the hub of the biggest port is in St. George's. I'm pretty sure too. So there's a lot of reasons why St. George's should be busy. So I'm not going to that. I don't do big crowds. I don't really like big crowds. I don't like being around that many people at all. And even if and it's not like not like I live a sheltered. I lived in New York for 30 years, so I'm no stranger to big crowds. However, do I like them? Nah. I like being out here where I'm at in the country. So I'm a stick to the country if I can. So I'm definitely not going. My mom said she might go. She might take a cab down there, and that would be fun for her. It's just a big kind of like a festival with a bunch of people selling stuff, and there's probably music, and everything has music here. So there's definitely gonna be music here, but it's gonna be fun for her, probably. For me, I probably wouldn't have as much fun as she would have going to that. So I'm not planning on going, and I probably won't go. It's easier that way for me. Um, yeah. So art stuff, art stuff, art stuff. What are we talking about? What are we talking about today? We are gonna talk about um what I'm working on. So I've just been slowly recording the essays, like I said, and for the most part, it's been an enjoyable experience. I think the one on depression was probably the hardest one, like emotionally to get through. So now that that's done, I feel like the rest of them will be a smoother process in recording them. But like I said, the one on depression is like 8 to 10 minutes long, I think. Um, can't tell you off the top of my head. I think it's like 8 minutes. Ends up being 8 minutes with the final recording and all the cuts and what I wanted to do with it. That's 8 minutes long. That's really intense, especially because the other ones are more like 4 to 5 minutes long. Um, I knew it would be really long going into it. It's also a gauntlet for me as well to listen to this. So and like I said, I do have to re-upload it because the sound didn't come out as loud as it should have been um, for that. So I'm gonna re-upload that, like I said today, and the sun, and then yeah, let's talk about something else. That's all I'm working on. So I don't have any other concept that I'm working on right now. Like I said, Space Volume 3 could be out soon, could take a bit longer, depending on how long it takes me to kind of get a recording down that I like, and then finding out what I want to do, figuring out what I want to do for the sound aspect of it, to kind of add that fun space vibe to it. 'Cause like I said, all the other space ones have a sound element to them. So we're gonna see about probably and I say probably, I mean definitely adding some sound and some more energy to that. And yeah, it'll be a fun process. I think it'll be a lot of fun to kind of just take back and you know put that put that out there for what it is. Um, okay, moving on. the other topic I wanted to talk about is voice and what that means. So what does that mean? What is a voice? Most people don't really consider it at all. Um, I I have to consider it now. At one point, I so I say voice when I say voice in terms of like writing and the physical aspect of the voice. Um, for me, and I didn't realize this till very recently. I can do a lot with my voice. I can change it at will. I can sing in Japanese. I can sing in Spanish. I can do a whole bunch of other things with my voice. But I do a lot of singing. I do a lot of like practicing my singing. So the voice is really, it's a very weird, interesting voice. Now it is. But before, I never really used to kind of like venture out into, unless I was singing. Then I would say a lot of times, like wherever I do karaoke, people be like, "Oh wow, you're really good at karaoke," you know. And kind of funny. One memory I have, one very distinct memory I have, is that I was singing Maroon 5 Sunday morning at a karaoke party with a bunch of Asian people, a bunch of Chinese folk. When I was selling life insurance and shit. That was that was a whole another life ago. I was 5 lives ago, even 6 lives ago. You know, so I was doing that, and this is back in college too. This is so many years ago. Um, and yeah, so we went out to karaoke one time, and like I sang Sunday Morning by Maroon 5, and everybody fucking cried for me, and I was like, oh shit, thank you. He's like, wow, that was a pretty good version of Maroon 5. I was like, yeah, man. I was singing along, but all right, cool. And then me and my friends we would get together and we would do like a karaoke game on PS2 SingStar. One of my friends bought SingStar, and again, I'm just like literally like just singing, being the notes. I was telling me to go higher. I could go higher. I could go lower. I could do whatever it is. And then I just started practicing like 3 years ago. I started smoking and listening to music, and after that, I just started singing, and like I could hear myself, and I'm like, am I hitting all these notes pretty, pretty perfectly right now? Interesting. So I just started doing it, and I did it for hours at a time. I used to exhaust myself, but I got into the habit of getting cough drops. Well, I think that happened. The cough drop innovation was pretty recent, but if you sing for like an hour or two, you either want to have like some hot tea after or a cough drop. And I think that's good advice for anybody doing any voice work is that after or before, put a cough drop in there. Let your voice let it soothe your throat, and it'll help you a lot when it comes to like rejuvenating and also maybe preparing for talking for a couple of hours. So that's a pro tip from me to you. Um, and yeah, so I've been doing that for a while now, just singing. I have to say it's a lot of fun, but also it kind of got me thinking about voices and what they mean. Like most people probably don't have a concept as to what their voice is because they can't really do a lot with it from what I've seen. And then me, I can just kind of like change my voice whenever I want. I can do whatever I want with my voice. I can do whatever I want. So I would probably be a pretty good voice actor if I liked the idea of acting at all. But I don't know. I'd rather just work on my art, whatever this is, whatever these projects are that I'm working on. But let it be known I can do whatever I want with my voice. I think you know what I mean. It's kind of just kind of like a fun thing to be able to just hey 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 how you doing? How are you? How are you? How are you? How are you? How are you, friends? How are you, friends? So now the funny part is that when I say all these things, let's tell you back to now the art part about it, because the art part about it is weird because I have a voice in my head which is my voice. That's the voice I write in, as well as the voice I naturally speak in. So when you consider the fact that if you can change your voice, then what voice do you hear in your head? Well, that's the voice I hear in my head, the one that I write in, the one that I, naturally record in. But it's not hard for me to talk in any other voice that I want. So it's kind of weird when you say, okay, well, if you have a voice, where does that come from? Where does that idea come from if you can change it? And even most people have ranges that they can speak in, but your natural speaking voice, what is that? What does that mean? If you can change, like let's say if you're feeling comfortable within, let's say 400 and 800, range, and your regular speaking voice is like 500, but you can easily go up to 800 without thinking about it. And I don't know how you, I don't know how you gauge your shit. I'm not a scientist when it comes to voices. I'm not a scientist when it comes to music at all. In fact, if everything that I've done so far, it sounds good to me. That's why I do it. I don't know the 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 science, or like, I'm not a very technical musician. If I I'm not a musician at all. If it's like, but when it comes to like working on these pieces, I'm not technical. I don't know. I don't know a lot of terminology at all. I just know it sounds good to me, so I do it. Um, and that's I'm not a technical person at all, but I am in most other things in my life. So it's kind of funny. And I do have a musical background, mind you. I did play. I started in when I was in junior high school. I joined the band. I signed up for a band because I like music my whole life. I love music. So I signed up for a band in junior high school, and I started with flute. I didn't like it because I blow it and no sound comes out. So I was like, and then I picked up drums, and drums are a lot more fun. They're a lot easier. Percussion in general. I basically only play snare drum though. I think once I might have picked up the bass drum and banged it a couple times, but that's about it. I don't think I ever played anything more than snare. But being in band and being surrounded by music and like kind of like learning about musical indentation, was helpful. I'm not gonna say like I'm like a complete, you know, idiot when it comes to music theory. Like I did take, you kind of have to understand some music theory, to kind of be in bands at all. But it wasn't really like a big thing for me till recently. And I'm kind of like in a weird place with it. Excuse me, because I couldn't sign up for a band in high school because I was in a weird program in my high school. First semester, I was in this weird ass program. It's called Pulse. It was like a special program in a special high school. But depression starts off with me telling you all that. That was kind of like a weird. Not it doesn't start like that, but at some point during depression, I'll tell y'all that that was kind of like a weird spot for me because I got kicked out um before second semester started. So um yeah, because I've never been good at homework. I've never been good at doing those parts of the thing where it is like um work at home. I'd rather be playing video games. I'd rather be, you know, right now I'd rather be working on art. my art. But you could tell. So this program was very like heavy science, heavy like most of these guys probably go to like medical school. I know a couple of them probably went to lawyers, and it's like a very intensive program and a very intensive high school that I went to. So it's kind of weird for me to even be there because like I don't I didn't really understand what it would be like at all until I got in. I was like, I don't want to do any of this shit. Um, so I didn't do it, and they kicked me out because I'm a bad student. I've always been a bad student though, and not even that. I've just been a bad student when it comes to stuff that I don't care about. It's my problem is that I I can learn. I can teach myself even. Like I taught myself. Most of what I learned about wine was self-taught. So a lot of studying, a lot of reading. But if the topic is interesting, I will do the work for it. You know what I mean? However, when it came to like school stuff, I never felt really interested in most of it. So it was just not something that I really cared about. So it was like math and numbers and science but also at the same time all the other stuff as well. Like even a couple of, like the art classes, like visual art is never gonna be something that I'm really really good at. Honestly, like I never planned to be good at it. I appreciate it, but I just never really worked on that at all. I have friends who've been doing art since for years and like visual art, and yeah, I appreciate it. I love it. I love looking at it. I enjoy watching, drawn animations and art, and I enjoy that part of life. But for me to create it, I don't think I'm not meant to create it. That's not how my brain works. Uh, and my hands are not bad. Like I play League of Legends still, and I'm not bad at League of Legends. So I'd say my hands work pretty fine. I mean, if you know what League of Legends is, then there's a lot of button pressing, a lot of like, you know, minutia that goes into playing the game. And yeah, I'm not bad at it. I'm not bad at it. So I know my hands and fingers work just fine. It's just when it comes to art, visual art, I've just never really been invested in creating it. I've always been writing though. I've been writing my whole life. So that's something that stands out for me is that writing's been here the whole time. Art has been here the whole time. It's just in the form, more so in the form of written art than anything else. Um, so let's loop it back around though. Let's talk about voices again. We got kind of sidetracked for a little bit. What I say about tangents? We don't do tangents here ever. But yeah, so the idea is that you have a voice in your head, and it's there, and it will be there. So when you write, you hear it. You probably hear it in your voice. Now, what does that mean? Where did this voice come from? I couldn't tell you if this is the voice I was using last year or the year before that. This is a comfortable voice for me, so it's probably not too off of the beaten path of voices. But I mean, it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny because one of my friends, I said to my voice register for like the first time, and he's like, do you have a speech impediment? And I was like, not anymore. But he's like, is it a speech impediment? Is it an accent? I don't know what that is. And he's like, I just never heard anybody talk like me before. And yeah, it kind of got me thinking about a lot of things. I kind of explained a lot to him, so he kind of has more of a sense of why I am the way I am, and possibly more so than you guys will know, because that's kind of personal shit. kind of personal. Kind of personal, but not private, is what I told him. It's like it's personal, but not private. I wouldn't hide it from anybody, but at the same time, it's a lot more personal than I'm going to put out there. Is it a secret? Not particularly, no. But it is kind of personal. So, is it a secret? No, not really, though. Those are two different things. You could have a personal fact about yourself that you don't consider a secret, would you go around telling everybody about it? No. Is it a secret? Like, would I try to hide it from someone? Also, no. Also, no. Um, so yeah, this voice in my head, this is the voice I mostly hear, I think, when I say things now. But what does that mean? What does that even mean? Like I said, most people have ranges that they sit between. So it's like if you have a voice and you speak, um, it's like usually I guess you have a range. So that means that you have the voice that you usually talk with is that a projection? Is that a construction at all? Think about it. Um, Kind of a weird thing, I think. And I only got a kind of sense of this at all, that this was an interesting topic to think about or talk about at all, when I started like listening to music, and it was like, oh, that's somebody's voice that is a very particular voice that that person uses, that I can borrow. I can, borrow it whenever I want. So it's kind of fun. But at the same time, it's also an interesting concept, I think. When you think about what it is, in general. Just think about the idea and the concept of what is a voice and what is that tied to. How do you figure out what your voice is at first? Do you just talk and hear yourself, or is it like a range of stuff that I couldn't tell you? Like I said, my voice is weird because I can change it. I can lose my voice even, in the sense that I felt like if I didn't think about it for too long and I started using someone else's voice, I'd probably just lose my own voice and just start using another voice. Um, that's kind of fun. It's kind of like a weird concept, like the Rogue of Voices, Rogue from X-Men. Only it's just voices. It's not like superpowers or anything. It's just I steal your voice and I talk like you. That's kind of weird though. That's very weird. Isn't that weird? It's probably weird. I can also do accents, but I gotta listen to, I gotta be in a place for a while. Like when I was in the South, I talked like a Southerner, and people ask me, "Where are you from?" Because you use weird words sometimes, and like I've been all over, sir. Thank you very much for noticing. But I'm not from around here. Uh, but it takes them a while to kind of get it that I'm not. That you got to listen to me say y'all a couple of times, y'all, because I got that one in North Carolina, and I say y'all a lot more than people say in Arkansas. Because I feel like a lot of people don't really say it as much as I did in Arkansas, where I got y'all in North Carolina. So when I'm in the South, I'm talking like the mix probably right now between a North Carolina Southerner and Arkansas Southerner. If I were to go back to Arkansas, which is to say, as I've said in a couple of episodes, that is not my intention to go back to Arkansas. I would go back to North Carolina for a little bit. I got friends down there. Well, cool people. A lot of cool people in North Carolina. Um, so yeah, depending on where I'm at, and I lived in Brooklyn for 30 years, so we got the Brooklyn, like I used to joke, but it's true. When I got angry, the Brooklyn came out real quick. When I got angry in Arkansas, it's just what? Where that one come from? And like it, it's there, it's there. I just don't bring it out too often anymore. I don't live in Brooklyn, so it's like, why would I talk like a Brooklyn person anymore? Um, I haven't lived in Brooklyn for many years now. Though I did leave and come back for a bit. I was in Brooklyn through all the COVID. I was in Brooklyn. Um, the bad part, not that COVID is over. It's not, obviously, but when COVID was at its peak COVID time, I was quarantined that whole time basically. So that was fun. Very much a weird time for me in my life in general. And we'll probably talk about that a bit more when we get to discussing some of the pieces that I've worked on recently, mainly the essays. Um, and yeah, the essays are very straightforward. I like them. Um, so the voice is very straightforward too. There's not really a lot of like range at all on there. I felt they all very much. Excuse me. I feel like they're all very much. Um, I don't want to say they sound the same, but I feel like the voice is very consistent throughout them. And if you'll see my other pieces, there might be, well, the ones where I sing, obviously, are kind of like definitely a different vibe completely. Um, but yeah, for the most part, that's my voice. That's the voice I hear in my head when I say things to myself, which is might make me sound crazy, but if you know anything about anything, you know that you gotta have. Some people have inner monologues, some people don't, right? Goes back to the visualization thing I was talking about in a couple of other episodes ago. It could have been last week's episode where I was talking about the visualization. That some people can visualize stuff and some people can't. Some people can, you know, hear inner monologue in their head. So I was thinking about this brings me back to Disco Elysium because I just played that game. Life changing event, really. One of my friends, he really liked the game, so I had it there for many years, and in fact I bought it in 2018. Funny enough, because I was blackout drunk and I bought the game and I woke up and I saw it there and I was like, what is this? And I basically tried to return it immediately because I woke up and didn't really mean to buy it. It was like a 20 something dollar game too, so I didn't really mean to buy it. But it's kind of fitting if you know what the game's about. It's about a cop who is basically blacks out uh, in the middle of a murder case. He's supposed to be solving a murder case, but he's been drinking and partying for like the last couple of days. When you wake up, he crashes his car. He does a bunch of shit, and you kind of like piece together all the things that he did before the game starts throughout the game. So it's very funny, but also at the same time it's very weird. So I was playing through that, and the main the main character Harry, the one that you follow, uh, Harriet. I think it's Harriet. I think that's a spoiler maybe, but his name is Harry Dubois, and you follow him around, and he has like inner monologues with all like these different. I don't want to call them beings, but they basically give you the sense that they are beings, like they are literal entities in their head. But it's just different parts of his mind and how he kind of like pieces together stuff. It almost kind of reminds me of that BBC Sherlock Holmes with Benedict Cumberbatch, how he kind of had like the mind palace. They used to be able to like go into like this mind castle, mind palace or whatever the fuck he called it on the show, and he was able to kind of like piece together. It's kind of like that concept of, but Harry has like all these different things, and he would just sit there and talk to himself, or he talks to these entities while his partner Kim is around sometimes. And Kim is just like, what is he? Why is he? I think Kim is very understanding though, especially because Kim is like watching you piece together the case while he's here watching you talk to yourself. And he kind of figures that you are a weird person, so he kind of just lets you work your own process at some point. Like once he trusts you, he doesn't question you as much as, oh, why would you do that? Why would you do this, etc., etc. Um, and it's kind of funny because that's how, at some point in time, that's how I figured that that's not how my brain works. I don't talk to a bunch of different entities, but the idea behind it about the voices. He has the different voices that he hears in his head, not because it's like different parts of his brain are talking different voices. And he only has the one standard voice, and in fact, he doesn't really do too much talking. There's the one scene where you sing karaoke, which is the whole fun part about that. The karaoke scene where you sing karaoke at the bar, and yeah, it's a fun game, and I was thinking about it, because I could relate to a lot of different aspects of the game. Um, a lot of different aspects of the game I could relate to. But the one about the voices kind of struck me as interesting and weird. Um, yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap it up. This has been a fun one. I just wanted to give y'all a little update. I didn't really feel like working on uh a big epic piece like Dark today. Like I said, Dark is like 5 minutes long, and it's about sex. So it's like it's a very interesting topic for me as a person in general. But yeah, it's not even about like it's not explicit at all. Explicitly about sex. Like if you listen to it, you might think it's about something else. But I think I gave you kind of enough indication that that's what it's about throughout it. Um, but it's not really sexy as much as about the the ideas of you know what I can't even really get into it without spoiling something that I want to talk about during the actual podcast episode. So we're gonna let that go. We're gonna let that go. That'll be next week's episode for sure, I think. And if it's not next week's episode, it'll be very much soon after next week, either next week or the week after that. We'll see. We do have guests coming this week in a couple of days. Thursday. Today I'm recording this on Monday, so I'm gonna put this out on Tuesday, as I've been doing. And yeah, we have guests coming on Thursday, so we'll see what that looks like. I think they're here for a while. This group, I think, is here for a couple of weeks, like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe. I don't know. I gotta double check it. And then our next solid booking is the week. We have a week in August. I think that's pretty booked. I don't know. I don't know. We got a lot of things going on right now. Good data as well. It's hot. It's really hot. It's dry and hot right now. So the rainy season starts soon though, so that'll be kind of nice. Um, I am south enough where I'm in the southern hemisphere, so the rainy season is at the end of the year. Um, so I am in the southern hemisphere. I just realized. So um, we're basically off the coast of South America right now. I didn't realize I was that much further south of the U.S. till I looked at a map and I was like, oh, South America's like right there, huh? Interesting. So yeah, we're very, very of south of the border, if you will, down here from where I was before. Um, so that'll be nice, I think, because rain is very good. Actually, if we're growing crops, and we're growing a couple of things over here right now, me and my mom, so it'll be kind of nice to get a break from having to worry about watering them. Um, though we're supposed to have a crazy hurricane season this year, so we'll see what that looks like when we get there. Um, Hurricanes hardly come as south as we are, but if it's very active, I suspect we'll get at least one that hits, and hopefully it's not a big one, because you know when a hurricane hits here, it's a big deal. You know what I mean? So Hopefully it's not too bad this year. But for what it's worth, I think we'll be okay. I think I'll be okay. I may disappear for a couple of days. Depending on how bad it gets, we might disappear for a couple of days. But we'll worry about that when we get there. You know, each thing in time, each thing in time. That's all you can do. Not worry about it. Move forward. Clean up. Help other people clean up. And you know, it's very stormy in the U.S., mind you, right now already. They've been getting storms, crazy storms all over the U.S. recently, all over the world even. I think this whole global warming thing, climate change situation might be on steroids for a little bit. Um, I made the joke on Facebook. Not really a joke, I guess you can say, but I said this is time of Lavos. Um, Lavos being the entity that destroys the world in Chrono Trigger. Spoiler alert for a more than 30-year-old game. Lavos destroys the world in Chrono Trigger. That's a fact that happened. Um, and then you are trying to bounce around time zones to save and change the world. Um, it's a very weird game, but it's based upon the idea that if you could go back in time and change things, then they would have an effect as to the future. Yeah, so that's fun. That's a comforting thought that maybe we can jump jump back in the past at some point and fix the things that we messed up here already. I don't believe that would be a feasible option, and I don't know if how time works is a very weird concept that I don't really want to think about right now. But let's just say, would we even be living through this right now if somebody had already gone back in time and fixed it? Well, how could you know? How could you know? Maybe somebody fixed it already. Maybe this is the fix. Maybe it gets so much worse than it was already, and somebody already went back and fixed it. And this is us. This is slow down time. You know what I mean? Who can know? Who can know? All right. That's a fun point to end it on. So we'll end it there. Who can know about time travel? How did we get here from voices? I hardly remember. Honestly, I don't really know. I couldn't tell you about it. Um, don't ask me too many questions about it either. I couldn't tell you. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how we got here, honestly. But we're here now. We're definitely here now. Um, yeah, this has been a fun one. Kind of short, considering, but also not really. 45 minutes is not a short episode, I'd say. It's short in compared to the 2-hour episode that I've been working on recently, but short in terms of content, I don't think it's really short at all. Um, yeah, let's end it here. Let's end it here. Thank y'all for checking in. Like I said, this is kind of like a chill episode. I just talked for a bit and give y'all a sense of what I'm working on, what I want to work on. We'll see what happens with. I gotta re-upload that last piece. I know that's not good sound quality and all on that, so we gotta redo that. I'm probably gonna do that in just a little bit. But in the meantime, let's have a good day. Let's have a good week, y'all. I'm gonna try my best to get the stuff I need to get done. You do the same, and we'll come back around and talk about it next week. Hopefully, we will be talking about the Dark poem next week. But maybe we won't. Maybe we'll talk about something else. I don't know. This is kind of like a nice update video. Maybe every couple, maybe every five, 5 to 8 episodes, I'll throw one of these in here to kind of update y'all on projects and the process behind writing. Or maybe we might do maybe we'll do a workshop episode next week. That'd be kind of fun too. Take another week off where I'm not talking about the poem because it's kind of intense. But maybe I'm kind of interested in it. I'm kind of interested in talking about maybe giving y'all kind of a workshop or maybe a mind. But that obviously would be a lot more organized than this one. As you have to write a script or an outline for that episode. If I were to do it like a workshop type episode, I'd probably have to do an outline of some sort where I have certain points I want to talk about. But yeah, so these are kind of a different episode. I'll probably do that after the Dark episode though. Or maybe I'll finish up the album, talking about the album, and then I'll do the workshop episode at some point. I'm gonna turn back on the fan now, so I'll talk to y'all later. Love y'all. Like and subscribe for more podcast episodes just like this one. Why not? You could just check in every week. I mean, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do it like that. I would say it's probably easier to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, so that you see it in your feed. It'll just pop up for you. And you don't gotta worry about it. You don't gotta worry about missing episodes if you like and subscribe, right? So, there's that. In the meantime, y'all have a great day. And love y'all. Bye. I think that's it. So, yeah. Love y'all. Bye, y'all. See ya. Have a good week. Have a great week, even. Have a good week. For real. This is my real voice. This is how I talk. Whose line is that? It's somebody's line from some show that's watching. I'm Abraham Lincoln. Yes, this is how I talk. Honest Dave in the house. This is how I talk. I'm Abraham Lincoln. This is how I talk. Why would you say that I'm not Abraham Lincoln? I'm not. I am. Whatever, bitch. Shut up. I'm Abraham Lincoln. Can I hold it? Can I hold it? Can I hold this voice? It would be nice to be able to hold on to the voice, but I think I already lost. I think it's gone. That high pitch annoying voice is just it's like the I don't know his name, but it's like Yamcha and that little doll boy that hangs out with him. I think that's kind of like his voice range is kind of like, hi. The little doll boy. Dragon Ball Z fans are fuming right now. They are furious that I don't know the little doll boy's name. But you know who I'm talking about at least. That's a good description. That you probably know who I'm talking about. The little doll boy. Hangs out with Yamcha. I remember his voice kind of being higher pitched, like annoying. So that's probably his voice. Hello. And also the Navi voice from Listen! Navi from Zelda 64. That's a fun one. Listen! That's basically all she said. Just pay attention to me, bitch. I'm right here. Look at. Please pay attention to me. I'm gonna fit you. I'm gonna put you on some game that will change your life. It will save your whole shit. Just listen to me. Listen. Um. Yeah. That's it. We're done. We're done for now. All right. All right. Love y'all. Bye.